Sports fans, Shot Tracker is an exciting wearable device that tracks your shots automatically. Design custom workouts with their incredible mobile app, challenge your friends wherever they are, and improve your shooting. I'm in. Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here, and welcome to BBallBreakdown. I am excited to have Drew Hanlen here with us from Pure Sweat to talk a little bit about shooting. And I thought we could start with, when you work with NBA players, we talk a lot about fundamentals and mechanics. Is that even an issue when you're trying to work with NBA guys? Can you adjust and fix and rebuild mechanics at that level?
Yeah, it takes time though. My big thing is if you're going to completely change a shot, it usually takes around 3 months. And people think I'm crazy, but I literally tell guys, hey, if you want to change your shot and use me to help you out, I need 3 months of no pickup, no anything. You and me are touching the ball, and that's it. Because I don't want them picking up bad mechanics, just jacking around. I don't want them, if we're working on something and they go out in scrimmage, they're going to go right back to their old mechanics. So if you're completely changing a shot, it means a total reform, then you're going to go about 3 months. If you're doing something tweaking where you're just changing, maybe spread your hand more under the ball, changing your balance, improving your balance, and just making tweaks, then you can do that stuff and just continually work on your game as well. Our big word is discipline. It takes discipline, whether every rep means it's going to be perfect, and also just a discipline to do the things that you're working on in games. And that's where you see players struggle is maybe they work out for an hour and a half the night before a game, and their perfect balance is straight up and down or whatever they want to do, their hand, whatever. And then they go in the game and they go right back to the old ways, and that's just lack of discipline, really. How
many shots do you think you'd take in that 3 month period per day?
See, that's another thing that's weird. I would rather have perfect reps. And one of the things that you look at a lot of NBA guys that at first when I started out, I was all about just drilling the mess out of them, And what I realized was a bad rep takes away more than just a couple good reps adds. And so a lot of guys, when they start changing their mechanics, so whether they break down and get tired, whereas when I was younger, I would just push through. Hey, you got to shoot when you're tired. And when you're changing your shot, you got to change your mentality. And it's got to be, hey, listen, once the reps aren't perfect, we've got to get out of the gym, and then we can come back in the gym later that night or find another good time when you're fresh just to make sure that every shot is perfect.
Well, you mentioned balance, and so you want to talk a little bit about how important that is to the shot. So walk us through some things that you like to do drill-wise that help with the balance in the shot.
Yeah, so the first one is I get right here, and I like to start at the free throw line because you think about great free throw shooters are going to shoot 85% or above. And so if they can knock down these shots, when nobody's guarding them, then obviously they should be able to knock them down in practice off the dribble, off the catch. So the first one we do is literally just a basic drill where we have the balance hand right here on the side, and we just stuff it in and go straight up. And all that's working on is just rhythm, but again, we're right here. We just keep our balance straight up, shoot the ball, and then land. And every single time I'm letting them just do whatever they want with their feet. I just want to see what naturally happens. The next thing we'll do is we'll add a dribble to it. So we're going to stuff it. We're going to dribble, stuff, and go straight up. So I do here, boom, and stuff. And you notice most people struggle with the pickup. Most people really struggle with getting that ball clean with their hands spread wide under the ball before they release it. And so this drill helps just being able to boom. And if you look at guys like Carmelo Anthony, how quick out of his triple threat series he'll boom and get it up. It's because he works on just getting the ball to his pocket cleanly.
You're dribbling with the left hand. Now, I've noticed people talking about that more where it's actually trickier with your offhand. You can now fake out more and then bring it here as opposed to dribbling here and it's always on the same side.
Yep.
Talk to us about that.
When you bring the left hand, you see a lot of people grab the ball here instead of here where you want to shoot the ball. And so when they grab the ball here, now they rotate their hand under the ball, which causes rim outs or side spin because you don't want your hand glued under the ball so that you can just shoot and keep your balance hand vertical.
Beautiful.
And so that's why we do that drill is just boom, straight up, get that hand under the ball, and then we'll go straight up. That's the second drill. The next one we'll do is we'll come over here, and we'll do this from both sides. I'll show you just going strong hand since we've done the left hand the last two. And we're just hitting ball and heel at the same time, boom, and then we're going to pivot into it, and we're going to jump up and shoot, and we're going to land on our tippy toes. Okay. Now the reason we're landing on our tippy toes, and I actually stole this drill, was because one of the guys that told me, he said, anybody can land and kind of wobble around and stabilize themselves. But when you shoot, you want to be as stable as possible. And so if you can go here, straight up, and land on those tippy toes, that means you're perfectly on balance. And so we're working on stabilizing the core and going straight up and down, and that's why we're doing it. So the next possession, obviously right here in a game, boom, going straight up and down. The next one we'll do is we come down at a different angle. So you can be anywhere in between here. Now in a game, you're rarely going to go up the line and then shoot, right? The only time you're going to do that is you see a lot of NBA players, when they're here, they might go away to separate, you know, or if you have a guy that's maybe a left-hander and he jabs downhill, he might separate up the line and shoot it, which, you know, a lot of kind of high school and college players, their coaches normally prefer them to try to get to the basket. In the NBA, a lot of players try to get to open space, especially if a shot clock's winding down. But we'll be right here, and it's the same thing, one dribble right here, boom, straight up and straight down. And you notice I just stabilize my core throughout my shot so that I can shoot it. If you watch great guys like Michael Jordan, even Kobe Bryant, when they shoot crazy fadeaways, the one thing that people miss, besides a cool highlight, is that really they're stabilized when they release the ball. They might wind out of it, but if they're over here and they, you know, they fade out of it, the first thing they do is they get that foot here, and when they jump up, they might be off balance. Their feet might not be perfect, but when they shoot that thing, they freeze for a second almost. What they're doing is they're stabilizing their core so they can be on balance, so when they shoot, they're not moving.
Right,
you know,
basically you're kind of like hanging in the air for a second to, to shoot that.
Hanging in the air, that's perfect.
Okay.
So that's the next one. Obviously, you can go, the harder you want to make it, just the more vertical you make it. So if you want to make it even tougher, you could be right here, go straight up.
Because basically they're going to want to fall backwards.
Exactly.
So that's what you want to try.
If you're right here and you're going up and maybe you do 2 dribbles from here, if somebody goes up and shoots it, their natural reaction is just, you know, kind of lose discipline and turn out of it. And so our big thing right here is even if I'm going from here, I'm boom, straight up, straight down. And if I can stabilize my core, then it's gonna be perfect. Now, higher level guys, you can also add kind of a leg stabilizer, but for the younger players, and even some NBA guys, I've been working on that exact drill, because if they can go straight up and down, then once they learn how to use their leg to maintain their core balance, I mean, then they're even better.
Yeah, then we can get to the sort of sway stuff that we talk about a little bit, which is great. I mean, that's fantastic stuff.
There's one other one that we do, because in a game, you're not gonna really land on your tippy toes and hold it, right? So the next progression that we do is we can do the same things where we basically bounce, and it'll be the first one will be a big bounce, then a slower bounce, and a settle bounce. So if I was here, instead of landing on my tippy toes and holding it, I would go up and I would shoot, and I would land, boom. And what you realize is by kind of like settling it down, is you realize that if you overturn, you'll quickly fix your mistake. So if a guy goes like this and big time turns, he'll go like this and he'll be like, I realized it. If they have to turn their hips big time, then that's why they do it. So my big thing is just, I want them to eventually be able to correct their own mistakes. And again, I want it consistent. I know there's some guys in the NBA, like you talked about the sway, that they love doing this. Well, theirs would be, boom, that's fine, because that's where they prefer their balance. I just want their balance to be consistent and repeatable every single time, just like their shooting mechanics.
Beautiful. Well, that's some amazing stuff you just gave us there, and definitely make sure you can try this. It's a great drill that anybody can do. You don't even need anybody to help you, because it's a one-person drill, right?
It is, yeah.
So I guess one of the keys, though, is you want to make sure that someone may be watching you to make sure that you're not falling back, because I think it's hard to know what you're doing on any given shot, right?
Exactly, and if you're a catch and shoot shooter, you can do those same things without the bounce. You know, you could throw it right here and do the same exact drill. You could be down here simulating maybe a tight pin down, throw it out to the elbow. And you can do it from different spots on the floor, because I'm big on just repping game actions that you're actually gonna see and you're actually gonna shoot. So if you're a guy that doesn't shoot fadeaways, you don't wanna be practicing fadeaways. If you're a guy that does a bunch of tight pin downs, and doesn't ever dribble, then maybe work on the tight pin downs all over. But just make sure that when you jump up, you're stabilizing your core so that the less moving parts, the better, because then you can just focus on the one thing that matters, and that's knocking down the shot.
And you can do this, it doesn't have to be the nail, it could be anywhere around the court.
Anywhere on the court. And I actually suggest guys, when they start out doing it here, just because here you can kind of line yourself up, but after a couple days where you kind of master that skill, move to the spots on the floor that you're actually going to get your shots in the game.
Beautiful. Well, there you have it, sports fans. Some terrific stuff from Drew. Definitely check that out and work on it, your own stuff at the gym. And don't forget, at BBallBreakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You in? Are you in, Drew?
I'm in.
To get even more of Drew's incredible drills, get the free Pure Sweat mobile app here.